So hey guys, today we're talking about Vanquish Soul. So I've been playing Vanquish Soul for quite a while now. So I've been messing around with it, labbing around with some Vanquish Soul builds, and Vanquish Soul honestly, like, once you've read Stake Your Soul, you'd think there'd be a lot of different good synergies with Stake Your Soul, but Stake Your Soul is simultaneously the best and worst card in Vanquish Soul. So the first issue with Stake Your Soul is it's called Stake Your Soul. So let's go ahead and read Mad Love. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Vanquish Soul spell trap from your deck to your hand. So stake your soul. Not Vanquish Soul, Stake Your Soul, or anything like that. No, just Stake Your Soul. Oh, yeah. Well, this isn't searchable. So, that sucks. Well then. This means one thing and one thing only. This deck has really bad consistency issues, yeah. So, if we go ahead and just, so we go ahead, open this hand. It's barely playable because we have Rosin. Nice. And if we were going second with this hand, we're completely cooked. All we have is Evenly Matched and then Rosin. So, I mean, I guess we have the Kaiju as well to sort of back us up, but what would we draw? Imperm for turn? Playable as long as our opponent doesn't have, well, certain hand traps. But, I mean, since we've called by, this is literally barely playable, so assuming we go evenly, our opponent keeps some sort of monster, we can normal summon Rosin, they try to Ash, we have called by, and we're okay. I guess. Could be doing better, for sure. Okay, and then here? Yeah, this is kind of the worry. So a lot of these cards are kind of like Garnets. So here we have completely nothing we can do. No engine, zero engine, completely dead engine. I mean, the most we can do is set Snow Devil and then like summon Borger. And I guess this allows us to do the Raigeki effect as well because we have the attributes for it, like 1, 2, 3. So, like, just a coincidence that we have enough attributes. If we did not have Rise Art here, and we had, for example, I don't know, it doesn't really matter, like even a Stake Your Soul here, we have no way of getting the third effect of, like, Snow Devil off unless we happen to draw good enough. Right? So, this is a dead draw. So, if I had this hand going first, I would have no choice but to set Snow Devil, and then we just activate Snow Devil to pop our opponent's cards. We'll try to find the timing for it and then draw. And we can't draw on the first turn. So then we draw for turn, and then we draw again off of Borger effect. So now, well, first off, Fenrir, what a bad draw. I can't do anything with this, but at least it's an Earth. That's about the mentality you have while playing this deck. But I mean, we have Pantera now, so it's like, great. And now we have Mad Love, yay! Do you know what this means? We can now Baguska and stall out a few more turns, but if we make Baguska, we don't get our Borger draws. So, yeah, now we have one interaction now, because we luckily happened to draw Mad Love. If we didn't draw Mad Love, we have nothing. We could draw on, for example, Humongous, Duster, Caesar Valius is actually just barely activatable, so, one piece of interaction, one pop, great. This is very much like a DP at home. Yeah, like, well, considering how our hand is going to look, so we'll probably link off, I don't know, like Borger at some point, and then like just special summon Mad Love, return Mad Love to the hand, then we have Caesar Valius, and then we're just sitting on Caesar Valius at this point. Yeah. And then we have our Ghost Spell and Crow still, so there's something about that, you know? We got something going for us. Except you have to consider our opponent knows every single hand card we have. So to summon our Borger, we had to set our Snow Devil. So 1, 2, 3, we revealed these 3 more or less. Except we don't have to reveal Crow. So the only card they don't know in our hand would be Crow. So it's 1 unknown. And then our draws. So they don't know we have Fenrir. They will probably know we have Mad Love and maybe Pantera. So, yeah. Not great. They have a lot of hand knowledge on us. Just randomly. And yeah, that's kind of just how it goes, so. Consistency issues are a huge problem. Also, hand traps are a problem, so yeah. Like, here, hand traps aren't a problem because we've called by the grave, so we can do nothing. Cool. And then here, nothing. But let's say we activate Rhoda, Ash Blossom Joe Spring. Okay, we have literally no activatable cards. All right, let's do some drawing. This is how long it would take for us to get Rosin, you know? So keep in mind, every single card you draw here is 2 turns passing. So these cards are the ones you get from turn 1. You don't get any cards on turn 2. Your opponent draws, then turn 3 you draw. So turn 3 I draw, and then assuming like turn 5 here, we top deck Fenrir. So we obviously have no bodies on the field because we can't summon anything except for Ash Blossom Joe Spring, and why would we summon Ash Blossom Joe Spring? Literally no reason to ever do so. So then we would probably add Rise Heart, just because in case we have a Stake Your Soul, you know? And then here is turn 7. We get our other Fenrir, so we can't search Fenrir off of Fenrir because I guess we would be doing that, assuming our opponent's also doing a lot of nothing. Turn 9, we finally get Rosin. Now we can play the game. Speaking of which, it's also worth mentioning that every single Vanquish Soul monster here, they all suck ass. Yeah, I said it. Aside from Rosin, every other Vanquish Soul just sucks. You don't really care to open any of the other Vanquish Soul cards. It's just Rosin or bust. So let's go ahead. So here, I guess also worth mentioning is Xiaolong is kind of like a Garnet. I mean, it's like an incredible kind of like extender, right? And not just an extender, it's kind of like an enabler. Like, it lets you do a lot of stuff that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise without Xiaolong. But, yeah. If Stake Your Soul gets negated? Well, not that likely since we've called by at least here, but yeah. It takes a while to get more Rosin, or yeah, Rosin access, and no Rosin access is just pain, yeah. So here, what are we gonna do? Just hope Crow does the job, and maybe set called by if this gets negated, for example, right? Well, notably, one of the really bad ones is like Imperm on Rosin here with this hand. So then I guess we can summon Rosin and pop 1 next turn. And what would we add off of Rosin? I guess Borger is probably the best, and then we would draw and we would get Ghost Spell, Moderate Depression, and then yep, DD Crow effect. Not DD Crow effect. Then we draw DD Crow, and we do have DD Crow effect. And then we would draw on the next turn, so this would be on turn 4. We would draw Durendal, and then Heavy Burger helps you kind of like draw into your Vanquish Soul stuff, but having to wait till like turn 3, 4, or beyond to get your access to stuff is just really bad. Yeah. So here, this hand, pretty tragic looking as well. This hand, I don't know why these hands were being so cracked, but yeah, here we go. Now, we have no, like, access, once again, to Rosin. So if we just had access to, like, Medlove and Terra, they don't do anything. They're all, like, essentially Garnets here. So, yeah. So Xiaolong, also kind of a Garnet, right? So here we have Fenrir. Probably just add Fenrir, honestly. If we need to, next turn we can add Rise Heart, so we're fine. Kinda. So we have called by Imperm, Grow, and Fenrir. It's 4 pieces of interaction. Whoa. Yeah, just putting aside the fact that, you know, for example, Mathmech just has like 7, 8 in comparison to this. Well, if it's just the 1-card combo, I think it's only like 3 interactions. No, not 3. It's like 4 or 5 actually. It's pretty nasty. So let's draw. Stake Your Soul. So this is turn 1, 3, 5, 7. Turn 7 before you even have a chance to get access into Rosin, and then we just top deck Rosin on turn 9. So this is honestly pretty lucky. So yeah, that hurts. So this is basically a Garnet as far as I'm concerned, kind of, right? So Garnet, let's count them up. So this is Pantera. Pantera is also a Garnet. So 1, 2, 3, and then we have 4, 5, 6 Garnets here, and then we have to run our Dust Devil. 7, continue, optional, but still a Garnet. 8, Snow Devil. 9. So that is like a fourth of my deck just being raw Garnets here, and that's not even considering the non-engine that's just going to be not useful for whatever reason. Like for example, Durandal can potentially be there as a Garnet, Infinite Impermanence, Evenly Match, Red Reboot. So like half of my deck is just essentially around half is just pretty much just Garnets or stuff that doesn't really do anything. But if we just consider cards that allow us to start our Vanquish soul plays, we have we're mostly going to be considering like Rosin, so that's 1, 2, 3. And then we have our copies of Stake Your Soul. So we'll just magically pretend we're just good enough to always open a fire, okay? Simply put, that's just how it goes. So 3, 4, and then this is 7, and then this is iffy. So I'll only count this as like about 1. So 8, about 8 cards that let you play the game. But like, if any of these get ashed, the issue with this is they're all essentially the same card. This card is a Rosin, of course. But yeah, this card is also Rosin. Unless you feel like adding Rice Art, which doesn't really do anything in my list. Maybe you can run a little bit more Kushtira to make this do a little bit more, but not that worth, I guess. Stake Your Soul. This needs a fire monster, so 2 cards required to activate. But essentially, you want this to be a Rosin. It doesn't have to be a Rosin, but yeah, what are you going to do? Special summon Pantera? Special summon like Madlove? I guess you can special summon Madlove, and that's essentially becomes a Book of Moon, right? So I guess that's something. And then we have Durandal, which is also going to search us Rosin. So if you notice the issue here, let's pretend we open like a hand, like we open 3 Rosin, and then we open like Stake Your Soul and Inferno. Well, actually we can't open Stake Your Soul here. So let's just say we open like double Rosin with like Durandal, and then we have maybe a Fenrir. I feel like I've opened this hand before, now that I think about it really hard, yeah. So, if we normal summon Rosin now, okay, Rosin gets negated. Okay, that's no bueno. So maybe, what if we special summon Fenrir, and then add, like, I don't know, Rice Heart's okay here, I guess, or Fenrir, it doesn't really matter, either one's fine. But just to get the Earth attribute, I guess, like, Fenrir, add Fenrir, that's alright, and then we'll just, like, Durandal, or Rhoda, whichever one we have, doesn't really matter, it's about the same. And then this will add us Rosin, yay! And then normal summon Rosin to add Xiaolong probably is our goal. Now, if Rosin is negated, what are we left with now? We have Rosin, and Rosin in hand, then we have Rice Heart, or Fenrir in hand, whatever, and then we have Fenrir on field. So essentially it's just Fenrir on field. Yup. And then from here we can, I guess, link off Rosin for rock, add back Rosin, and then summon Rosin next turn, and then maybe we can pop one of our opponent's cards. But they can also play around the pop, like with on their normal summon with Fenrir's Zone. But I mean, we can still Fenrir banish them, but then we have to deal with the same issue kind of again. So we're not getting places here, and the only good saving grace of this hand here in this example is that we actually have Rosin, so we can just summon Razin again the next turn because Rock. Unless they out our Rocket the Vanquisher and also remove Razin. If that happens, we have to top deck Razin again, more or less. Or, in this case, I guess any summonable Vanquish Soul. So, that's great. But technically, in this example, we do have Razin in hand, so that's cool, I guess. We can Razin search guys, and that's right. So, Xiaolong is kind of awkward as well, in that, like, Xiaolong is a card you want, probably, to play as a 2-of. Like, searching... Sometimes you need another fire for Xiaolong, and Xiaolong is a fire, so sometimes you actually do Razin add Xiaolong. So that's a bit funky. And that's cool, I guess. But, does this usually get you places? No, not really. So you have interactions, unless you open like this, which happens pretty often, and then you're just praying you top deck into... Yeah. Look how many cards deep we had to go for Razin, right? So this game, we would probably lose. Our opponent will probably top deck something, more likely than us, and not every hand trap is always going to be relevant. So, like, for example, here, we have infinite impermanence, essentially, and evenly matched. Let's say our opponent is playing Sword Soul. If our opponent does not need to resolve Emergence, this Ash Blossom does nothing. They have 6 cards in hand. And Ghost Bell does nothing, so it's just exactly infinite impermanence. That's all we have. And we also have an empty board, so our opponent's going to be, like, doming us constantly. So, that's not great. Yeah. We're just getting domed, they're just attacking us over and over again, and we'll probably die. Yeah. No way around it. So I guess continue, you can technically cut, but continue allows you to make Bagooska pretty easily, and it helps with link climbing, so... you can go, for example, Pit Knight early, and then go like Promethean Princess, Ambler Whale, Z Atlantis, and that works. Speaking of which, I should probably cut Griffin. I mean, this card's useless. I just put it because I had, like, no idea what to put here, so... Probably cut Griffin and put in, like, another copy of Rock. Didn't really get lucky with my Vanquish Soul pulls, unfortunately. But yeah, also, like, worth mentioning is that Madlove, you could technically run multiple Madlove, right? But Madlove is a pretty bad card, straight up. So, let's increase our amount of Madlove, so let's see if we can get a Madlove hand. So, now we have double Madlove. Let's pretend we don't have Razin, okay? So let's say instead we have something normal like Xiaolong. Okay, what can we do with this hand? We can normal summon Madlove, and then we can grab a copy of Dust Devil, and that's about it. We don't have the attributes to resolve Dust Devil, or not Dust Devil, Snow Devil, and we have 2 of the same names. So Dust Devil flips based on different names, so this is quite literally just a glorified Book of Moon, which sucks. Yeah, that doesn't really do a whole lot here. If we have Razin at least, then we can do like Razin add Xiaolong because we have a fire here, and then we can do our search after returning our Razin to the hand. But I mean, here we don't even have a chance to summon Madlove. And then we just, we would just Xiaolong effect to do the search for either like Dust Devil or Snow Devil. In this case, probably Snow Devil, and then Xiaolong can do another search. So it's like just, when it's live, it completely gaps Madlove. And you have no way to recycle any of your spell traps, so after a point, Madlove just becomes completely unresolvable. For example, like, you might have, like, Borger on field. And then, like, how will you resolve Madlove if it is on field? Like, Dark and Earth effect? This returns the lowest defense on the field, so this has 1,500. And then, this has 1,500. And, this also has 1,500. So they are all less than Madlove, and your opponent could just have a higher defense point monster than this, and then It just does nothing. This effect is useless. This becomes a useless card. And the only purpose it will now serve is it is going to be revealed by Borger in order to draw one card. That is essentially what ends up happening with Mad Love. So that is not good, to say the least. So yeah, that's pain. Yeah. So there's also the fact that Dust Devil also sucks. So this is like a Book of Moon effect. So right now, as of recording this video, not great. Branded is being played, and you confuse with face down material. So that sucks. What you can do, I guess, like, assuming you are going second at least, is you and Book of Moon their monsters, and they can't activate the effects of monsters that are face down in defense position. So you have that going for you. Except you have to search this first. Yeah, so not looking great for you. And also, unlike, for example, Geo, your opponent can simply flip their monsters back face up. So after a point, the best usage for Dust Devil becomes Ghetto Imperm, or this becomes a way to just stop your opponent from attacking your monsters by flipping them into defense position so that they can't attack you. Yeah, not great. And then Soul Snow Devil, I wish this would recycle or something. This is going to be like a Torrential Tribute, and that's awesome. Very useful effect. It has 3 pretty useful effects, honestly. So against Mirror Jade, for example, Mirror Jade will no longer be able to destroy your monsters with its end of turn effect. So sometimes comes up, not like super important, but whatever. And this does a little burn damage, which is cute. It doesn't really end up mattering most of the time. But you can use this to like special summon your Rosin, and then tag out Rosin to make sure you have a fire in hand by putting Rosin back to summon Caesar Valius, and then this grabs you Pantera. And of course you actually need to run Pantera because you need Unearth to resolve Caesar Valius effect. And let's just do a test hand real quick. Do we have Unearth? No. Is this hand playable? Also no. This? No Earth. And here, kind of Earth. We have Fenrir. So kind of, but not really. I mean, that hand was actually not good, yeah. So, yeah, not great. And another issue is sometimes you just can't really get the attributes easily. So, for example, like, maybe you do want to resolve Mad Love, but you can't because you don't have an Earth monster. You would have to search it off of, like, Rosin or something. So you can't just resolve Mad Love at all. So, that sucks. And also the fact that because of how the deck actually just works, you can't run like Droll and Lockbird or Nibiru without like trade-off of getting like way less consistency for your engine, I guess. So here, like, look, instead of, let's say, I don't know, I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's look for a different one. Hand trap kind of hand. So here, like, we're already suffering, so we have Stake Your Soul with Pantera. Do we draw anything? Not really. Okay, so let's say we have Ghost Spell. Okay. Instead of Ghost Spell or Pantera, we could have, like, for example, Droll and Nibiru. Okay, now the hand's even worse than before. Now, what am I going to do? Stake Your Soul, revealing Droll to summon the very existent Wind Vanquish Soul? Or perhaps the Light Vanquish Soul monster that definitely exists? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, that's not great either. So, you have a grind game issue with how you can't, like, recycle your Dust Devils or your Snow Devil, your Continue. You can't recycle them. So that sucks. So, you also run out of plays, essentially. So, your deck, after, like, a certain point, your forms of interaction are going to be like hand traps that you hopefully will draw into, just hopefully. And then you have Caesar Valius pop one. Rosin can maybe pop. After a point in time when your field gets clogged enough, Rosin's not reliably easy to resolve anymore. And then you have Jiaolong change battle position. Yeah, that's about it, and you have not much else. So if your opponent resolves like a Brand Fusion, you're doing much worse. And you just get a lot of like super bad hands, like, because not only do you have like a bunch of bad Garnets, you're only essentially starter as far as I'm concerned. Might as well just be Rosin. So I'll tell you right now, Madlove doesn't have good grind game either, so like if I were to summon Madlove and not draw into like Rosin or anything like that, well, if we do draw into a 4 at least, we'll be able to Baguska stall out a few turns. But aside from that, we have Book of Moon that we can activate once, and then we have Snow Devil, which we probably won't have the attributes to resolve anything meaningful for. Like, you can't, like, Madlove doesn't get you any attributes, so yeah, that's not going to do a whole lot for you. So that's miserable. And you're going second ability, of course, not that great, because you're running so many Garnets anyways. So, okay, let's say I'm going second with this hand. Bro, I will activate Reinforcement of the Army, hopefully. And then maybe, hopefully, the Sash Blossom Joy Spring slows down my opponent. This probably won't stop my opponent. And we'll also get a draw a card for turn. Yay! Now we can try to stake your soul for Jiaolong. So, that's miserable. Yeah, that won't do much for us here. And then our opponent will probably just cook us. So, after Rosin gets negated, so even if we have Jiaolong, okay, to add whatever we want, we have to reveal, like, so we probably don't have Ash Blossom Joy Spring. Our opponent won't know we have 3 Rosins, but they will know we have 2 Rosins. So, now they have 2 unknowns for them. So, that sucks a bit. And then, no, not 2 unknowns, right? Yeah, it's like 1 unknown, which would be, no, wait, 2 unknowns. So it's like the Rosin they don't know about, and then the Called by the Grave. And then we can add a card. So here, what do we add? All of our cards are fire. Well, they aren't fire, but they are fire, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, now we can go ahead and add Madlove, I guess, and then try to summon Madlove to do something with that. So, this is looking like a Baguska angle, and then we're going to hopefully just be able to do something with that if they're playing like Mathmech or something. So, something like that, you know, just a Link deck in general. Yeah, Baguska is not an option, so that won't do it. So maybe here we can try for Zeus instead, so we go like our rank 4 Zeus. So there's also like the Zodiac stuff to attack direct and then make Zeus. You could try that, I guess. Assuming they don't have like some kind of removal. Like if they remove your cards, then you don't really have anything. But speaking of removal, what do we have? So we still have our normal summon, so ideally what we would be trying to do here is like normal summon Rosin and then add Madlove, link this off for Rock, and then special summon Madlove, add Continue, Continue adds back a copy of Rosin, and then we can make a rank 4 from there. Would be our hopes and dreams right there. And that's about all we could try for, all we could hope for. Not looking the best, but there was effort made, I guess. Yeah. Not great. And then this hand, yeah. Rhoda, stake your soul. This is on the better side. And then this. Yeah, so, the best we could do is hope that our, like, Ghost Spell stops them, or they just have a board that's weak to evenly, and then we can just Borger draw. Oh. I guess we can Borger draw. We simply draw the Rosin. Yay. Now, what if we didn't draw the Rosin? What if we drew Imperm instead? We would cry. Sadness. Look how long till we get the next access to Rosin, dude. Here. That's quite a few cards in. And no Rosin means essentially no gameplay. Pretty much, that's just how it goes. And also, another issue with this deck is it puts up 0 negates. So 0 negates means, how will you fare against this? Evenly matched? Anything like that? completely just does you in, and you can't do much about it. So you're just simply hoping to open better than your opponent. So consistency-wise, deck not that great. Going second ability, not that great. Going first ability, it's alright. This is more of a turn 3 deck anyways, you know? Sometimes you're just playing a turn 3 deck, I guess, yeah. So, if you want to look at it in a different way, you could even call this it's just the worst, for like a worse prank kids. Yeah. So it's like any of these guys, link off, link 1, and then you go like, essentially, you're able to go into Battle Butler, and then, you know, that's your Raigeki. I mean, you also get the draw cards, actually, now that I think about it. Which one was it? Like, Prank Kid Pranks? But, like, this actually recycles, and also, this destroys more than one Raigeki. This Raigeki's twice. So, yeah. One perspective would just be to call this a worse prank kids. Sadly, yeah. And this lets you just draw, like, all the time, right? Yeah, you can draw a lot with pranks here, yeah. I mean, it's not as much as, like, a Borger, but, like, do you need Borger draws? When every single, like, one of these guys is a starter? So you have 3, 6, 9, and then 12 different starters that are all different names, whereas we could try to get like 12 different ways into Rosin, but at the end of the day, they are still just Rosin, so yeah. Vanquish Soul has a lot of issues, but I mean, they can still get new support, at least. But also, like, if we get new support, then we'll end up having to kick out some of the non-engine to stay at 40, right? So for example, let's say I have to kick out these guys, and then we have 2 new cards to put in for my Vanquish Soul deck, right? That would be kind of just not the best necessarily. It would depend exactly how the support works, I guess. But the issue would be, if I remove these guys, I don't have a good way to deal with towers anymore. Speaking of which, to deal with towers, I kind of have to hard open these, so I'm just praying, really. Yeah. So, not the greatest here. And also, like, Crow, the fact that Crow is considerable in the same way that, or I mean worth considering, same way as Bestials are right now, in specifically Vanquish Soul, it's kind of just depressing. So, when I built this deck, honestly, Bestials have a lot of reasons to not be played. So first is, the only Bestial that will search another Bestial is Magnamut. So this is at 1. So if you were to open, for example, Druisworm, if you summon Druisworm, your opponent gets like, they might like lose something, but their play is not necessarily going to be stopped. There isn't any dark or light decks right now that actually get hit hard enough by like Bestials, in my opinion, to matter. They can just extend through it. So if we were to summon Druisworm, this is not that much different from just activating DD Crow. The only difference is I have just 1 more body on the field. And I guess in Druisworm's case, it has this send effect, which is cool. But also at the same time, I don't have a dark in hand anymore. If, for example, my only card was like a Crow, my only darkest Crow, like here, it would be better than Crow, but not that great. So yeah, for the purposes of resolving Vanquish Soul Snow Devil, it is strictly worse unless we get like more copies of Magnamut. Your darks are also hurting right now to an extent. And your Earths are, like, I guess you can technically play, like, Maxi. I personally don't like Maxi, but, like, yeah, not the greatest either, still. So, part of the issue is you'll probably just end up not drawing that many relevant hand traps against your opponent. There's a chance that that happens, actually. So if you look at this, we have like Imperm. If I draw into this, I probably can't activate this. Like, assuming I am going first and I resolve Mexi, and my opponent is just summoning guys, what are they worried about exactly? Ghost Spell Haunted Mansion. So this has a timing issue called the... Oh, they already did their like one special summon from the graveyard, and they will never do it again for the rest of this turn. Which Ash Blossom Joy Spring also kind of falls into that category, but like you only get one Ash Blossom Joy Spring, and then you'll probably not be able to resolve Ghost Spell, and then that'll just be it. So that'll suck as well. So essentially, consistency not great, going second ability not great, going first ability is alright, and yeah, that's essentially Vanquish solo for you. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.